If you've paid any attention to the news lately, you'll have heard many stories about how the LGBTQ+ community is under attack in the United States and around the world. Whether it's anti-trans bathroom legislation, cultural attacks on pronouns usage, or the use of violence, as in the tragic case of the Club Q shooting in Colorado Springs, the community is under attack in many different ways.
Unlike some other states, in Colorado, we fortunately have protections for our LGBTQ+ community codified in our anti-discrimination law. Colorado explicitly protects sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. This, however, doesn't mean that LGBTQ+ Coloradans don't face any discrimination, with several anti-LGBTQ policies being implemented, particularly against youth in schools.
Hi, my name is Jaxon Hoskinson, and this summer I had the privilege of being the PFIP Fellow at Inside Out Youth Services. Part of my work there was to go with our outreach team into the community and educate local organizations about the LGBTQIA2+ community, as well as how to make more inclusive spaces. One of the presentations that we give is our student rights training, which you can see me helping to give here. Our student rights presentation goes through legal protections youth have in Colorado, as well as what protections they have. We gave this to the youth activist training this summer, which was put on by the Pikes Peak Commission for Justice and Peace. While we gave this training, something interesting was happening. After nearly every slide, a student would raise their hand and say that either someone that they knew or themselves had had their rights violated within the past year, and they hadn't even known it. For instance, many students reported having a teacher who would repeatedly and knowingly refuse to use a student's correct name and pronouns, which is discrimination in Colorado. While at Inside Out, we do the best we can to help our youth, fighting back against discrimination outside of our walls is not our expertise.
My name is Annette Leyva, and I had the privilege of spending the summer at the ACLU, where pushing back against discrimination is our specialty. For those of you who may not know, the American Civil Liberties Union is a national organization that champions civil liberties and civil rights. I spent the summer as a PFIP Fellow at the ACLU of Colorado, the state's oldest and largest civil rights organization, where we fight to protect the rights of all Coloradans, especially the most marginalized, through litigation, education, and advocacy. The graphic on the screen shows the ACLU of Colorado's 3 core issue areas. Our campaign for LGBTQ+ rights falls under our Privacy and Liberty project. During my time at the ACLU, I had the opportunity to work on a variety of issues, including school board research for our LGBTQ+ campaign. Why a focus on school boards? Despite state protections, school boards have been implementing harmful policies against LGBTQ+ youth. Just as one example, Monument Academy, a charter school in District 38, passed a resolution in June of this year that adds several provisions that directly restrict gender expression and identity. As you can see on the screen, these policies directly oppose anti-discrimination protections.
At Inside Out, our mission is to build access, equity, and power with LGBTQIA2+ youth in Colorado Springs. Our work focuses on providing resources and programming directly to the youth in our space. There, we provide them access to gender-affirming clothes, food and snacks, life skills training, and so much more. While we do our best in Inside Out to prepare our youth to be resilient in spaces that are not going to be kind to them, fighting back against discrimination or running anti-discrimination campaigns is outside of our purview.
In my social justice work, as is true for most social justice work, I found it necessary to reach out to other organizations working on the same issues, which included Inside Out. Inside Out's direct connection to the community, particularly LGBTQ+ youth in schools, was a necessary component to the ACLU's research. It is necessary to hear directly from the impacted communities to know how to best protect their rights and how to best help them.
As the only LGBTQ+ youth-focused organization in Colorado Springs, the anecdotes we hear from our youth are often the only ones available to organizations like the ACLU. Our youth are often struggling at home, facing bullying and harassment from their peers at school already. So facing discrimination from the adults at school who are supposed to be helping them learn, it already adds further barriers to succeeding at school and feeling safe. Inside Out, to many of them, is a second home, if not their only real home, where trust leads to acceptance, and we can build an environment where the stories we hear from them allows us to call on organizations to advocate for them when we can't.
The ACLU of Colorado's campaign is still in the planning stages, and both Jaxon and I were only able to spend a summer at our respective organizations, so by all means, we don't know it all. However, we did learn some valuable insights into the civil rights of all Coloradans and saw the immense work that still needs to be done. Despite the progress yet to be made, we were truly inspired by the determined people working to make our state a more just and equitable one. Even within just our two organizations, there are different modes of advocacy that each one employs.
Whether it's gathering, storing, and helping to distribute different resources to the communities who might not have them and still really need them.
Or it's drafting inclusive policies and collaborating with others.
It can be building safer spaces where people feel safe to be themselves.
Or it can be fighting in court. We absolutely need them all. And to have them all, you need a coalition.
So in the spirit of coalition building here today, what can y'all do to help out LGBTQ+ youth in Colorado Springs? I know my slide already spoiled it already, but it's voting.
Local elections are truly so important because they directly impact you and your community. For those of you who don't know, school board elections are this November. School boards hold an immense role over the environments at schools, from financial control to staffing to even deciding aspects of curriculum. So it's truly so important that you become informed and vote for the candidates that will have the community and the kids' interests at heart.
Additionally, find ways to plug into your community directly. Colorado College has the Collaborative for Community Engagement, which allows students to plug into an ever-growing network of organizations in the Springs who do activism of all types. Additionally, faculty can connect with them via the PEAK project to build in community service and community engagement directly into the course curriculum. And finally, students who are interested in nonprofit experience for either summer or year-long terms after graduation should look into applying for the Public Interest Fellowship Program.
With the constant feeding of news, we know that it can become easy to become overwhelmed about our state and our nation. However, we hope that you leave here with a better sense of awareness of an issue in our community and a sense of how you can help. The fight for social justice is long and enduring, but we're incredibly motivated by the inspiring people at the ACLU, Inside Out, many other organizations, and the incredible community members fueling the movement. We need every single one of them, including you, to keep the movement alive. Thank you.